myself, because it's so important that you know that that is who I am. I'm a wife and a mother. I'm a parent coach. I'm a behavioral specialist. Yes, that's my area of specialization. I help manage children that have disruptive behavior, children who have behavior that they cannot control. So I help in managing behaviors in children. I'm also a SEND consultant. You know, SEND simply means special educational needs. So I consult for schools on children with special educational needs. I speak in schools, I speak in schools, I speak at conferences, churches, and any gathering that related to what I do. All right, let me quickly explain to us that I'm not a medical practitioner. Please know that Wurala Iwole is not a medical. I'm not a pediatrician. So I may not be able to answer questions relating to medical issues. Like, okay, my child is running temperature, my child is breathing somehow, or anything that is medically related. I may not be able to answer your question. Is majorly about parenting. So please, if you have questions that are in that regard, I would prefer that you talk to a pediatrician. So I believe we all get that. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to start tonight with some very important questions. Please, the moment you realize you cannot hear me, please let me know, maybe in the chat box or somehow. Just let me know if you cannot hear me. So, like I said, I'm starting tonight with some important questions that every parent must ask. And because you are new and you are just coming into parenting, I'm going to start tonight with these questions. The first question I'm going to ask you is, why did I give birth to my child? Or if you have more than one children, have you ever asked yourself that question? Why did I give birth to this child? Or why did I give birth to children? Because, the general saying is that if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. The reason why a lot of parents don't care, so much about their children is because some people, or let me say most of us, just have children because that is the necessary next thing after marriage. Not necessarily because we really thought about it. Very few people actually thought about it, prepare for it, do all of those things. For some people, they just have children because it's important in life. We're all in this world. Everybody wants to have children, or everybody wants to have a child. But it's so important that you know why, we are having children. Why God set up a system of procreation. Why God set up a system of we giving birth after our kind. It's important that you know that purpose, because that is what will now give you insights, about that little human that you have in your hand. That is what will help you not to treat that child anyhow. That is what will help you not to, prioritize other things at the expense of raising that child. So please, if you have your journal, in fact, you should have a journal. Yes, you should have a journal. At least you should write one or two things down in this webinar. So why did you give birth to that child? It's important. Ask yourself that question and provide answers to it. If it is just one answer, if it is two answers, please ask yourself that question. That is the starting point. That is where you begin to get clarity. That is where you begin to understand that this thing is not just the game of me too, I have 3 children, me too, I have 4, me too, I have 5. So you will really, truly understand the purpose of children. Number 2, what kind of adult do I want to give to the world? Now, let me say at this point that you are not raising a child. You are actually raising an adult from a child, because you are not raising a child to be a child. You are raising a child to grow up into adults. So, what kind of adults are you going to give to the world? You see, every adult you see today is a product of either bad parenting, good parenting, or no parenting at all. Yes, that is the way it is. If you find out very well, is that the person is exposed to good parenting or bad parenting or no parenting at all? Maybe they were never guided, they were just living, picking up influences as they grow. Number 3, you are either raising a mighty seed or a non-entity. Now, you know, the word of God says that our seeds shall be mighty on the earth. Please, how are you going to raise a mighty seed? How prepared are you to raise a mighty seed? So, there is no middle ground. You're either raising a mighty seed or a non-entity. You're either raising a king or a servant. Now, these things must be clarity that you have from the start. Because if you are not intentional about these few things that I've mentioned, you will just be doing parenting by assumption as it comes. As I have the time, I will just do it anyhow. So write down these questions and ask yourself these questions. The kind of adults you want to raise. Is it going to be the adult that will be part of the healing that we need in the world, or that adult we add to the problem? Do you know that some of the bad husbands, the irresponsible fathers, the irresponsible wives that we have today, some of the baddists, the terrorists, some of them, if you trace it very well, you can trace it to their background. Just what I said is that they were never raised very well, or they were badly raised, or they have good parents. So when you see an adult, the outcome can always be traced to how they were raised. So please ask that very important question. Why did you give birth to that child that is in your hands? And what kind of adults do you want that child to become? All right. Now, let's now go to the subject of the day. We are talking about parenting. I know you might have read about parenting. Okay, parenting is raising a child, parenting is caring for a child, parenting is this, parenting is that. But the first thing I want you to understand about parenting is that parenting is a privilege. Yes, that child that you have in your hands, you are privileged to raise another individual. It's a privilege. It is not a right. It is not a right. The reason most parents treat their children the way they like is because they think, oh, it is my right. After all, I'm the one that give birth to you. So I have the right to slap you anytime. I have the right to do this and to do that. And I have the right to do whatever. So it's a privilege. It's an entrustment. That child is in your care, and God that has put that child in your care is trusting you. Is trusting you to raise for him a seed that will continue his intention on the earth. So it's an entrustment. It's not just, oh, I can just do it anyhow. And mind you, you will give accounts. So I don't want you to see parenting as something that is just, oh, it's my child, it's my child. I can do it anyhow. It's a privilege. I don't want you to see it as a right. I want you to see it as a privilege. If you see it as a privilege, then you'll be very intentional and you will pay the price that parenting requires. Now, the third thing I want you to have in mind about parenting is that parenting is influence. And that is where I'm going to be dwelling right now. Parenting is influence. Now, most of the time we have heard the saying that leadership is influence. Parenting is also leadership, and parenting is influence. Yes, the greatest influence you have right now on the earth, we all have our sphere of influence, our circle of influence. But your number one circle of influence is your immediate family. You know, your husband, your children. That is your first circle of influence. Now, the greatest influence you have right now is yourself and your little human. When I mean little human, I mean little children. So if you are going to influence the world, let your influence start with that child in your hands. Because you have all the rights, you have all the privilege to influence that child. Do you know that some people gather children and raise them and influence them to become terrorists? It's about programming. So you have the power to influence your child. You are either going to use that power to the advantage of your child or to the disadvantage of your child. So parenting is influence. Before you think of influencing the world, start with yourself and your little human, because that little human is also your continuity. All right, I've said this before, that every adult is a product of either good parenting, bad parenting, or no parenting at all. Research, according to psychologists, has shown that everything is built into a child by their interaction with their environment. Yes, that is the research. Everything is built into a child by their interaction with their environment. So if you see a child bringing out a particular trait, you can be sure they pick that trait from the environment. They pick it from the environment. And you have to understand that, so that you will be intentional about the kind of environment that you create in your home. Children are seeds, and seeds are God's system for continuity. Therefore, a child can be raised to be a continuity of either good or evil. That is it. So you as a parent, you are the one that will now make the choice. Okay, I want my own child to be a continuity of good. Please follow me carefully tonight. I'm going somewhere. There's something I want you to understand. There's a clarity I want you to understand about parenting. So that, because if you don't understand how important that seed in your hands is, you will not take parenting seriously. So the kind of adult that you are planning to raise, is that adult going to be a continuity of good or a continuity of evil? There are people who have the goal, because they are drunkards, and they tell themselves, they just say to themselves, my child must drink, my child must smoke. And from childhood, they begin to introduce the child to those things. Now, is their goal? That is what they want their child to continue with, because it is whatever we live with our children that they will continue with. So your seed that you are going to raise, what will that child continue? Because it's whatever we give to them that they will continue with. Now, that is it. So a seed that is well planted and well cultivated will bear good fruits. And when the fruits come, you are the first beneficiary of that fruit. A child that is well raised, you are the one that will first enjoy the benefits. A child that is badly raised, it is still the parents that will be the first beneficiary. Let me give you another example. The heart of every child is like a piece of land ready to be cultivated. It means that even if you do not plant anything, as long as there is rain, a weed will grow. If you see a land now and nothing is being planted on the land, as long as there is rain, is a natural law. As long as rain begins to fall on that land and that land is fertile, weed will begin to grow. What is a weed? Weed means unwanted plants. So you just see that after a while there is bush on that land. Even though the owner of the land did not plant anything, children are like that. They are ready to be well cultivated. So even if you are not planting anything, something will still grow. The problem is that what will grow is what you don't want. Now, weed in this regard can be unwanted behavior, unwanted adults. So if there is no middle ground, influence will come. Influence will flow to your child from school, from your neighborhood, from everywhere. Influence will come. So if you are not consistently planting what you want to see, When those external influences comes to your child, there will be no standard in the heart of your child that will rise against them. So a wise parent must be proactive in sowing good seeds into their child. That is what is it. You have to be proactive. And being proactive starts from even pregnancy. You begin to sow the seed, you begin to sow what you want to see, because even if you don't sow anything, something will still grow. So you have to be smart and be proactive in sowing the things you want to start seeing. All right. Okay, let me give you an example. There are some things that I intentionally start my child on when she was maybe 2+. And now she's getting grounded in it. Even me, I'm seeing the little results. The result is not much, but I'm seeing the little results of the actions that I took some 3 years back. That is the way it is. Influence will flow. Something will come. But the question is, are you planting what you want to see? Because if you don't plant what you want to see, what you don't want to see will show up. So as a wise parent and as a new parent, I want you to take this tonight. Be proactive. Be proactive. The first wisdom, be proactive in everything, in every detail. And your being proactive starts with the planning. What is your parenting vision? What is your parenting plan? What are your goals? The first 3 years, what are the goals? The first 7 years, what are the goals? The first 10 years, what are the goals? So you cannot tell me you are raising a child, you have a plan. Most of them, when I talk to parenting plan, they'll be like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I have it in my mind. It's in my mind. And what is in their mind is that when my child is 12, my child will go and learn fashion designing, and my child will go to London to go and study. That's just a goal. That's a means to.
I know what I'm doing. I have it is that when my child is 12, my child will go and learn fashion
I'm still going to
designing, and my child will go to London.
better, you know, in the parenting startup course. Now, a child that is well planted will bear good fruit. And when the child is bearing good fruit, you know what? Other people will come and eat from that fruit. So there is a power in your hands as a parent to chart the course of your child's life. It is called parental influence. I advise you to use it to the advantage of the child. But I want you to know that you have that power. How you now use it depends on you. So the first thing I want you to pick here, be proactive. Be proactive. Be proactive. And use your power well. Ask yourself, I have the power to influence my child. How am I going to influence this child? It's very, very important. So the power of parental influence is in your hands. Now let's now go to parenting stage. You know, in the days of our parents, our parents tried their best. They use everything they can use. They use everything they know. They tried their best, actually. They really, really tried their best. But I want you to know that in today's world, things are changing. We are in a changing world, and things are changing fast. I mean, things are changing fast. That is why you need to be proactive. Societal value is decaying by the day. So parenting is a force that we can use to make this world a better place. Yes, if each and every one of us will decide to raise our little human very well, then we are going to have a better world. If you must leave this world a better place than it is now, you must raise your little human well. You must be very intentional. You must be very, very intentional. Now, there is a war going on between light and darkness already, and your child is the target. Yes, your child is the target. I'm going to give few examples here. We have the LGBTQ. you know, LGBT, we all know about LGBTQ now, you know, the acronyms for lesbian, gay, and all these transgender people. Now, I can show you videos. The target is your children. Something happened recently. Maybe I'll share the video on the WhatsApp group later. In a school I think in America, a teacher invited one of the LGBTQ people into the class and they plan on how they are going to be teaching them about transgender. And the first thing they said to the children is, your parents are not safe. Don't tell your parents about this. And they started teaching them. They taught them for like 1 year. One of the things they taught them is that they can give them an injection to stop their puberty. I mean, let's say a child is a girl now, they will give them an injection that will stop every sexual part of a female gender. That means the breast will not grow. Everything, every reproductive system of a female gender will not grow. Then they now tell them about cross-sex hormone. That means when they give them an injection that stops the puberty, then they will give them a cross-sex hormone, then the child will now grow up to be transgender. So the problem is, these children were afraid of telling their parents. So they taught them for like 1 year before this whole thing exploded. And one of the parents was not saying, okay, I'm going to sue them and all of that. So these people are really targeting your children. You know, the way they are transgender, they can't have children. So your child, they are targeting your children. They are targeting your seed. Now, I know you say, oh, we are in Nigeria. Thank God. And Nigeria is safe and all of that. What if you decide to leave Nigeria today? What if your children grow up and they decide to relocate to other countries where these things are already legalized and normal? Will they be able to stand against it? We are in a world where you have to be reminding your child, you are a girl. You are a girl. No, don't let anybody tell you you are a boy. When we were growing up, our parents didn't have the challenge. So we have a lot. We have a lot before us. We have a lot to fight. So it's more than all these natural things that we are looking at. There is a serious war, and your children are the targets. Now, another example is that there is a community in America now where Satanism has been legalized. Like they teach it in schools. Now, let me tell you what they are teaching them under Satanism. They are teaching them witchcrafts. They are teaching them wizardry. They are teaching them sorcery. They are teaching them how to cast a spell. Like they are doing it broad daylight. Like they are teaching these things like they are teaching English and maths. So it's not so that it doesn't look like we are hiding it. These things are happening already. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you. I know we are still in Nigeria. But even if you are not a Christian, at least an average person does not want his or her child to belong to Satan. Let me tell you, what the enemy is trying to do is that by the time our children are growing up, evil, darkness will look so normal and acceptable in the society. Now, another news came. Sweden, Sweden introduced sex as a sport. They did a sex sport championship. Now, imagine your child. Just imagine your child in the class, and they are teaching them different type of sports. And they tell them relay race, those sports, and they mention sex. And your child is now growing up to understand sex as a sport. You see now. So what the kingdom of darkness is trying to do is that they want to legalize evil. They want to make this thing look so normal. Now, we are saved. We already know that they are evil. But imagine when our children will become teenagers. Just imagine your child, your 12-year-old or your 16-year-old coming home to tell you, oh, mommy, sex is just a sport now. How do you convince them that sex is sacred and it is only for married people? Those are the things we are going to be facing. We are going to face LGBTQ. We are going to face Satanism. We are going to face immorality. Immorality legalized. Immorality legalized. So our children will grow up in a world where all these things will look normal and acceptable in the society. You see now that we need to raise a very high standard. And you also see why we must be proactive. We must be proactive. If you are a Christian, this is not the time to say, oh, let's just introduce them to Christ alone. What we are doing now is you must indoctrinate your child for God. And even if you are not a Christian, whatever it is that you believe, please, let's be proactive. These people are coming for our children. They are coming for our seed, and we must be battle ready. It is now war. So our children will grow up in a world where immorality will appear normal and acceptable. So I'm still on parenting today. Now, parenting today requires a two-edged sword, which is prayer and knowledge. Now, one of the mistakes of our parents is that they pray, but most of them lack knowledge when it comes to parenting. You cannot rely only on prayer today. You need knowledge. You need the two-edged sword. Because one of the weapons in the hand of the enemy is ignorance. So the enemy knows that. Okay, sorry, please. So the enemy knows that you will pray. All right. Sorry, I'm still on this. The enemy knows that you will pray, but you will not teach your child sex education. So it takes opportunity of your ignorance. Sorry for that break. So parenting is learned and is worth learning. So you need prayer, you need knowledge. When you refuse to learn parenting, your child becomes a victim of your ignorance. Yes, when you refuse to learn, your child will become a victim of your ignorance. And your child is actually a product of what you know. Yes, your child is a product of what you know. You can't raise a child beyond what you know. So you must be intentional and be wise. And for you to get wisdom, you must learn. So the method of our parents cannot work. We have to learn parenting. Parenting is learned. Now, these are the mistakes you need to avoid as a new parent. Mistakes you need to avoid as a new parent. Parenting without a plan is a mistake. You must have a plan. You must have your goal. You must have your routine. That's how to achieve what you want to achieve. Parenting by assumptions is a mistake that most new parents make. Don't parent by assumptions. Gain clarity. Don't follow public opinion. That's number 3. Following public opinion. Children, that's the way they are. They will change and all of those things. Over Googling. Yes, I know most of us here, you have over Google everything. You ask Google everything. It's not bad to Google, but don't overdo it. And let me also tell you that what you need for parenting, you cannot get everything on Google. You need to hook up with a coach. My child is still young. It's a mistake. You need to be proactive from day one. Seeking perfection. Parenting is not about perfection. Don't seek perfection. Seek knowledge. Then brain picking and not hooking up to a coach. Yes, avoid those mistakes. You need to know that parenting is a process. Yes, it's a journey, it's a process. It's not a quick fix. Parenting is first about you, not your child. Parenting is not an emergency. Yeah, it's not an emergency. You need to take your time and create a process and follow it. You have a time frame. Children will grow and go. Children will grow and go. So you have a time frame. Your time is short. You must choose a parenting style. Now, everybody on this call tonight, I'm going to give you a free ebook, and that book is on parenting style. It's a book that will help you to choose the best parenting style that you need. Then you have to break your goals into daily or weekly routine. Now, this is where I come in. All these things I have said, I can help you achieve them. I'm launching a course very soon on the 25th of this month. And in this course, I want you to gain clarity. I want you to be able to create a plan. I want you to be able to set goals. I want you to be able to create a routine in which you begin to impute into your child everything that you want to see on daily and weekly basis, even if you are a busy parent. So I'm going to share the flyer and the payment detail on the WhatsApp group. All right. So the course is supposed to cost you 7,000 naira, but I'm doing a flash sales, just 1,500 naira. I just want you to be intentional. I just want you to know you are ready. See, I've done this thing for free before, and the way people treated me, I did not like it. So right now, if it is 3 people that will come in and will be serious, I'm ready for you. I'm ready to hold you by the hands and take you on this journey if you are ready. Now, let me tell you the additional benefits. You are going to have a free 6 months access to my inner circle, that's the parenting college. You are going to have access to accountability. You are going to be having monthly coaching, all with 150. You are going to have access to my parenting community. We are going to have a community where we share things together and we discuss, and so many, many more things that you are going to enjoy, just for 1,500 naira. All right. Now, some of your questions, I saw some of the questions. How do I cope with my work and my all of that? Most of the questions that I saw in the form that you fill, this parenting startup will answer the question. I'm telling you. So if you can register for parenting startup and you come in, and I can hold you by the hand, help you to gain clarity first, help you to create a plan and a goal first, and we'll now begin to look at your areas of concern and how we can deal with it. All right. So we have come to the end of this webinar. Let me see. All right. Now, the people that I'm seeing here are the only people that will get my free ebook. Yes, I'm seeing the refinements. I'm seeing Omoladeori. I'm seeing Okiolubumi. I'm seeing Ikeoluwapo. All right. So all of you will get my free ebook. The free ebook is only for those that attend this webinar. So after this webinar, on the WhatsApp group, please just how do I do it? Just slide into my DM, and okay, I'll get the book across to you. I'll get the book across to you. Thank you very much. Did you pick anything? Did you learn anything? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section. And in case I don't know your name, please, on the WhatsApp group, just slide into my personal DM and tell me your name, then so that I can give you the book. If you attend this webinar and you didn't get the book, just contact me. What did you learn? Let me see in the chat box, please. Let me see in the chat box. We will soon be out of this place. All right. What did you learn? One thing that you picked from the webinar. All right. It was eye-opening. Thank you so much. Now, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I want you to go to the WhatsApp page, drop the things that you learn from this webinar. Then I will use that opportunity to send you the free gifts, the free ebook. That's how we are going to do it. Just go to the WhatsApp page now. Tell me 1 or 2 things that you pick or you learn from this webinar. Maybe, okay, what I pick is that I should be proactive. If I don't learn parenting, my child will be a victim and all of that. Anything you learn, go and drop it on the WhatsApp page. Then when you learn on the WhatsApp, when you drop it on the WhatsApp page, I will use that opportunity to now send you the key book, the free gift that I have for you. All right, I learned that prayer alone cannot solve it, but knowledge as well. Thank you so much. Somebody say very rich. Okay, thank you so much, my sister Ikeoluwapo. Yeah, when you don't learn parenting, your children will become a victim of your ignorance. Yes. Thank you, the refinement. I love that. Thank you. I'm glad you picked 1 or 2 things from this webinar. All right. Thank you so much. I'll expect you and I'll see you at parenting startup. I'll drop the detail on the WhatsApp group after now. Then we'll be having free webinars like this. So once we have free webinar, of course, I will always invite you. All right. Thank you. We'll call it a night. Bye, everyone.